पौधे की जो रेगिस्तान की तपती रेत में भी बिना थके सौंदर्य और शक्ति का प्रतीक बनकर खड़ा रहता है। यह है आगावे, कुदरत का वो करिश्मा जिसकी पत्तियां देखने में जैसे किसी कलाकार की कूची से उकेरी गई हों। सोचिए, यह पौधा खुद में हजारों रहस्य समेटे हुए है। सिर्फ एक बार जीवन में खिलने वाला फूल, वो भी तब जब उसकी कहानी अपने शिखर पर हो। और आश्चर्य की बात, इसी पौधे से तैयार होती है विश्व प्रसिद्ध टकीला, और इसने सदियों से इंसान की मदद की है मजबूत फाइबर और औषधीय गुणों के साथ। तो आज किटुगार्डन चैनल पर तैयार रहिए इस जादुई पौधे की कहानी सुनने के लिए, जिसने मरुस्थल को भी हरियाली और उम्मीद दी। अगली कुछ मिनटों में हम जानेंगे इस आकर्षक पौधे के अनसुने रहस्य, आकर्षक उपयोग और जीवन की अद्वितीय यात्रा। क्या आप तैयार हैं वाह कहने के लिए?
The deep dive, where we try to cut through the noise, find those key insights, and make sure you walk away feeling genuinely informed. Today, we're jumping into the world of a pretty amazing plant, one that's both, well, architectural and just a symbol of toughness, the agave. You might know its look, maybe its connection to certain drinks, but we've gathered the essential info to help you really get it, maybe even grow it.
Amazing is definitely the right word.
Yeah.
Agave isn't just another pretty succulent, its whole vibe, that strong, spiky shape, sometimes amazing colors. It hides this incredible resilience.
Yeah.
It's honestly a perfect choice for lots of modern gardens, especially those terrace setups or balconies where you need something that, well, just works. So yeah, our goal today is to boil it down to the essentials, the real aha moments, so you can feel confident growing agave, maybe even become a real fan.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Before we dive into the how-to, let's step back a bit. Where does this plant actually come from? And how does that origin story shape, what it needs and why it's so tough?
Oh, absolutely. It's fascinating how its home dictates everything. Agaves are mostly native to Mexico, then stretching up into the drier bits of the American Southwest. Think about those places. Really intense sun, hardly any rain, rocky, often poor soil, big temperature swings. It's not exactly a lush jungle, right? It's harsh. But the agave didn't just survive there. It thrived. Developed amazing ways to cope, like those thick leaves. They're basically sophisticated water tanks, built to grab every drop of rain when it finally comes. And the roots spread out wide near the surface to catch that moisture fast. So that ability to just flourish in tough spots, that's exactly why it's known as such a resilient, often surprisingly low maintenance plant once you get its basic needs.
That really paints a picture, doesn't it? Knowing it's basically a desert survivor gives you the roadmap. It's not fragile, it's built tough. Okay, so with that desert background, how do we give an agave the best life, especially maybe in a pot on a terrace? What are the practical first steps, starting with the soil?
Yeah, you're right on it. That's the foundation. Their home tells us their roots hate wet feet. So for a potted agave, the ideal mix is mostly inorganic, something that drains super well. We usually recommend something like 80% volcanic cinder, maybe 20% good compost.
Volcanic cinder specifically.
Exactly, volcanic cinder. Not just any old stuff. It's really porous, so you get amazing drainage and air around the roots, which is just critical to stop rot. It sort of mimics those rocky desert soils. It's heavier than perlite too, which helps keep the plant stable and often has some trace minerals. That 20% compost just adds a little bit of organic matter, releases nutrients slowly, without holding on to too much water. Getting that ratio right is pretty key to avoiding the usual problems.
That makes sense. Going beyond just good drainage to why that specific cinder works. Okay, so the foundation is set. What about feeding? Do they need much fertilizer?
They do need some food, yeah, but definitely not like, say, a tropical plant. Give it about a month, maybe 30 days, to settle into its new pot. That lets the roots establish a bit. Then you can start with a specific mix. We like using bone dust, corn flakes, and superphosphate.
Okay, what do those do?
Right, so bone dust is great for phosphorus, really important for strong roots, and just overall toughness. Helps it handle stress. Cornflakes give you a slow, gentle release of nitrogen for healthy leaves, but not like weak, floppy growth. And superphosphate adds another phosphorus boost, which can help encourage flowering, though for many agaves, that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing years down the line. How much you use depends on the pot size, obviously, but those ingredients give that slow, steady feed agaves like. It helps avoid problems and keeps them looking strong.
That's really clear, tying each bit to what the plant actually needs. Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting, I think, for a desert plant. Watering. How do we do it right without, killing it with kindness?
Yes. This is probably the most critical point, and where lots of people mess up. Unlike your average houseplant, agaves are built for drought. minimal, infrequent water. The absolute golden rule, and I can't say this enough. Only water when the soil is completely dry.
Completely dry, like bone dry.
Bone dry, not just the top inch. A good trick is sticking a wooden skewer, like for kebabs, deep into the pot. If it comes out totally clean and dry, then it's time to water. And when you do water, soak it thoroughly. Let the water run right out the bottom. Think desert downpour, then nothing for ages. Deep drinks, rarely, not little sips. Because the biggest danger is overwatering. That leads straight to root rot, especially if the drainage isn't perfect. And once rot sets in, well, it's usually game over. So less is definitely more with watering frequency. Definitely. It's crucial.
Excellent tip with the skewer, takes the guesswork out. So, mimicking nature again, what about sunlight? How much sun do they really need to look their best?
Oh, they absolutely love sun. They crave it. They need full sunlight.
Full sun meaning?
Meaning direct sun for at least 6 hours a day. Ideally more. Don't be afraid to put it in your sunniest spot, that south-facing balcony, wherever gets blasted. This is not a shade plant. If they don't get enough light, they get etiolated.
Etiolated?
Yeah, that means they stretch out, get all leggy and weak, losing that tight, cool shape because they're desperately reaching for light. The colors fade too, but give them lots of direct sun. They grow stronger, tougher, keep that beautiful, compact form, and the colors get much more intense. It's non-negotiable, really, for a great-looking agave.
Loads of sun, hardly any water. Sounds pretty ideal, actually. Low effort, high impact. Okay, so once you've got one thriving, you might want more, right? I know I would. How do you make more agaves? And where do you find different kinds?
Good question. And yeah, they do tend to make you want more. Luckily, there are a few ways. 3 main methods, really. First, and probably easiest, is using the pups. Those are the little baby plants that pop up around the base of the main one.
The offsets.
Yeah. Exactly. You carefully cut one off, try to get some roots with it, then, and this is important, let the cut end dry out and callus over for a few days, maybe even a week. Prevents rot. And just pot it up in dry mix. Usually works pretty well. Second is top cutting. Less common, depends on the type. Basically chop the top off, let that callus, and plant it. Takes a bit more patience for rooting. The third way is collination and growing from seed. Now this is, well, it's really tough and pretty rare for home growers. Agaves often flower only once, right before they die, and they might need specific pollinators, like bats or moths, that you just don't have around. Getting viable seeds and germinating them, that's more for like specialist breeders, adds to their mystique, I guess. And finding new plants. Plenty of options there too. Your local nursery will usually have the common types, which is a great start. For more variety, definitely look online. Lots of specialist succulent sellers out there. And here's a cool thing for the really unique stuff. You can even import special varieties from places like Thailand. They breed some incredible looking agaves, really unusual variegations and forms. So yeah, something for everyone, from beginner to serious collector.
That's great. From pups in your own pot to importing exotic ones. Cool. Okay, so what does this all mean? Let's pull it all together. Why is agave such a good pick, especially for maybe a smaller space like a terrace?
Right, home, agave really shines, especially in those modern settings. Terrace gardens, balconies, places needing impact without fuss. I mean, it ticks all the boxes, doesn't it? It loves full sun, perfect for exposed spots where other stuff struggles. Needs hardly any water, great if you're busy or a bit forgetful.
Definitely.
It's super hardy, handles temperature swings, and on top of all that practical stuff, it just looks amazing. That structure, the form, it adds this touch of elegance, almost architectural beauty. So yeah, it's kind of an easy choice. Great for beginners wanting success, but also really appealing to collectors looking for unique forms. Perfect for both, really.
That sums it up perfectly. Beautiful, tough, easy, hard to argue with. So if you're listening and thinking about a plant that gives a lot visually but asks for very little back, maybe consider an agave. It really seems to offer that rewarding experience, bringing a bit of that desert resilience into your own space.
You know, it does make you think, doesn't it? This whole discussion. If a plant like agave can thrive with so little difficult conditions, minimal input, just patience, and still look so striking, so resilient, well, maybe what can we learn from that? About adapting, maybe finding elegance in simplicity, whether that's in our own lives or even just how we design our gardens. It kind of nudges you to appreciate efficiency, and that sometimes, less really can be more beautiful, more enduring.
That's a fantastic thought to end on. Really makes you see the plant differently. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the amazing agave. We hope you feel informed, maybe inspired. We'll be back next time with another exploration. Until then.
आज की हमारी बगिया की कहानी यहीं तक। उम्मीद है आपको किटू गार्डन की यह हरी भरी यात्रा पसंद आई होगी। अगर आप